Good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Rankin Mon Valley Pittsburgh National Council of Negro Women. The National Council of Negro Women's mission is to lead, advocate for, and empower women of African descent, their families, and their communities. My name is Patricia Bluette, and I am the section's corresponding secretary. And joining me is Alice Paler Days, who is a member of our political committee for our section. We thank all of you who have been participating in our previous programs, and we hope you will join us again tonight with your questions by calling 412 853 8206. Our guest today is Tracy Lynn Calhoun, and she is the district mathematical academic coach for the Pittsburgh Public Schools. This program today satisfies one of the National Council of Negro Women's national mandates, providing mentoring and educational support to our young people. In addition, today's program also satisfies one of the Four for the Future initiatives, which is to promote science, technology, engineering, art, and math education. Before we begin our show today, I'd like to introduce our special guest, and we're going to have Alice read her bio.
Good evening. Tracy Calhoun is a graduate of Monessen High School with a bachelor's degree and a master's of arts in teaching. She has an exciting career in the Pittsburgh Public School system that began in 2005 as from a third grade to a sixth grade teacher of English, science, and math, up to her current position as a district mathematics academic coach. For the past 12 years, Tracy has also been a camp director of Summer Boost, a PPS summer school program formerly known as Summer Dreamers. She was selected and employed with Teach Plus in their Equity Leadership Institute. This opportunity was designed to plan, recruit, and support, retain, and grow educators of color through a continuous improvement process. Tracy also holds several positions in church, including administrator, musical director, secretary, and first lady at Holy Faith Tabernacle, where her husband, William Lee Calhoun Jr., is the pastor. She was previously employed in a community position as an adjunct faculty organizing community events for WQED. And currently, she's employed as a ticket seller for the Pittsburgh Pirates for more than 20 years. Tracy resides in Monessen with her husband and has a beautiful blended family of four: Kathy, Sequoia, William, and Kevin. Welcome, Miss Calhoun, and thank you for appearing on our program today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's an honor to be here today. So thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. And my first question for you today is, explain to the audience and to me, what is a district mathematics academic coach and what do you do?
So just like athletes need a coach, teachers need a coach too. So we provide instructional support by co-teaching and modeling lessons within the classroom. And so we make recommendations based on best practices. We also lead and provide professional development because we all need to be refreshed on the new things that's going on out there, at the school and the district level. And this professional development is based on research and evidence-based strategies.
That's great. Now you are a teacher. Who inspired you to become, and what inspired you to become a teacher?
So, wow, that is such a great question. My inspiration of being a teacher really began with my parents. They were my first teachers. They're all of our first teachers.
Mhm.
And they modeled how to be a teacher and how to be a leader. They taught me great Christian values, how to love and respect others. And, it was just a great foundation for me. And my mom had a daycare in our home, and she raised all the kids in the neighborhood. And she taught them all the basic skills of math and reading. And in the summertime, she used to pay me to kind of help her out with the kids. And of course, she taught them morals and values. Now, my father was a Sunday school teacher and a superintendent at my home church at Wayman, and he was employed as an electrical repairman in the steel mill. And he also owned his own TV radio shop called Holmes Rapid TV. And so my love for math actually was engrafted from him.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
great.
And well, what do you find most fulfilling about teaching mathematics?
Oh, wow. I think maybe just seeing how students progress, because a lot of times students are not sure exactly, what to expect in your classroom. And some of them may not even feel comfortable with math. But once they begin to learn and understand and really persevere, I love when they have that aha moment, like, oh, I get it, I
Mhm.
understand. You know what I mean? After grasping, a new or difficult concept. So that's the part I really love. I also love inspiring people. And so I love inspiring children, to have that love for math and love for numbers. And, I want them to grow up to be the next mathematicians and engineers, So I always tease and say, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to see you. You're going to be my doctor. You're going to be my lawyer, and because we have to speak that life into our students. And so, I'm encouraged to see who they will be when they grow up. So I love just inspiring our children. Um,
How receptive were the teachers about being coached by you, having an academic coach?
Well, sometimes it's a good thing and it works in my favor, and sometimes it doesn't work in their favor, because if you're refusing the help that I have, that's refusing great help. So on the most part, it's about my attitude and how I portray myself and how I'm coming into the classroom, how I'm showing love and respect for their classroom, and letting them know that I'm here to support them, to give them straight
Mhm.
strategies, and to support them with something new. And let's try something new and let's do it together. It's not about pointing fingers, but it's all about us doing something together so that our students can learn. When I put it on an aspect where it's us and it's we and not you, then they're more receptive of that.
Mm-hmm.
But there have been situations where pride steps in the way of some teachers, and they don't want to receive the help. But for the most part, I haven't really had but a few experiences of something of that nature. Most part, everyone is receiving me. I come in with joy. I come in with laughter. I come in with excitement. I'm ready to, let's come on, let's rock and roll. So I just come in with that enthusiastic attitude, and usually I can win the teachers over, and they're like, oh, Miss Calhoun, come here, I want you to show me this, show me that. So and I love building those relationships, and teachers
Okay,
that I've
good.
been with in the beginning of my career, what I mean, still call me to this day. They have my cell phone number, and we talk, and we review things, and and just really get down to the crust of things. And that's being able to find ways to teach our students and find interesting ways and engaging
Good.
items. Yes.
Now we're going to go back to one of those aha moments that you spoke about earlier. Can you discuss a memorable success story of a student who initially struggled with math but eventually excelled under your guidance?
Yeah. I have so many stories of students that kind of, like I said, they come into the classroom and, they may like reading and don't like math. And then I have some that love math and don't like reading. But,
Mm,
there are some students that have, come into my classroom and that have, really struggled and needed that love and needed that support. And so it's all about being strategic and being able to provide them with the academics that they need. Some of our kids are um, really needing to know, just the simple concept of money. How to go to the grocery stores and how to spend their money and how to just really manage certain things. So there's been some struggling students that I've had. I could name a few, one by one, but they have all grown up and they see me in the grocery store and they see me down at the Pirates, where I work down there, or they see me dropping off their children from school and they say, "Oh my goodness, Miss Collins, do you remember me? Remember when I struggled? Now I'm in college at IUP and I'm doing this and I'm doing that." Those are the opportunities that are the best because, I know that I'm getting my flowers now from all that I've sown into their lives. And so that my work really was not in vain.
great.
Okay, great. Well, can you share any strategies or tips for parents to support their children's learning outside of the classroom when they're at home and and they're struggling to do the homework?
Yeah.
But you know, before you answer that question, we do have a caller on the line.
Oh,
We
yes,
have
I'm
Reverend
sorry.
June from Hazelwood. So, Alice, you'll come back with that question once we
Yes,
talk with
yes.
Reverend June. Hello,
Go ahead,
Reverend
Reverend
June. How
June.
are you?
Hi, my name is Reverend June Jeffries, and I'm watching your show today, and I celebrate you for providing a platform to celebrate women of color and the influence that we have in this culture. So I'm a grandmother, and grandparents are doing a lot more interaction with the grandchildren now because of the world in which we live. But I, as a 64-year-old grandmother, cannot even wrap my mind around this new way that they teach math and English and some of the other curriculum. So how would a
Hmm.
grandmother, because back in the day you could come home and your parents could help you with your homework. We don't know the new thing now. So, and I do believe that these sciences and these maths will be so important for our young people. So how would we learn how to help our children and grandchildren? I'm also a pastor, and we want to make sure that we're giving our children every possible advantage. But we don't know this new, they call it new math. I have
Mhm.
no idea. I wouldn't even know what to do with it. So, what would your suggestion be to help us that are so impactful in our children and grandchildren's lives? How can we get this information to help our kids? Thank you for
Right.
taking my call. Thank you.
All right. Well, I thank you for calling in, and that is a great question. And so I would like to say that because you are a pastor, I'm actually going to tip in on that. And the first thing we need to do is pray for over our students and pray for our children and pray for our own minds. Lord, give me the mind to be able to receive this new information. And so that's why it's really important to collaborate with the teachers. Usually at the school, they have different workshops and different programs where you can come in and to learn a little bit more. And I would just say that to, your child's teacher, your grandchild's teacher, and say, "Hey, I don't know about this new math. Is there any way that you can give me a briefing on how to make sure they're doing it right?" And so being more involved with the teacher and having that collaboration is one thing that you can definitely do. I think that's what's most important in making sure that our students understand. And also having your students kind of explain it to you. What did you learn today? Hold them accountable. What did you learn today? What did the teacher teach you today? What are you learning about? And have them try to teach you, because if your child is unable to do the homework that was given to them, then that means they were struggling in the lesson that day. And
Mhm.
so that needs to be a phone call to the teacher to say, "Hey, I'm not sure my child or my grandchild understood this. Is there a way that we can find a way to review with my child, because they're unable to explain it to me?" we know if we're able to explain things, we've pretty much got the concept. Me, I'm a big talker and I love to talk. And so, you know what I mean? I know, when kids understand, when people understand, when they're able to talk about it. And so if they're unable to explain what they've learned, then that's a phone call that you need to make to the teachers to have that collaboration and find a way that we can make sure that our students don't slip through the cracks. We don't want it to be months and months down the line, and we've taught them for months, and your grandchild doesn't understand a concept. And so the earlier we're able to detect that and have that communication and build that bond, the better. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Okay. Oh, we have another caller on the line. We have Donna from Homewood. Hello, Donna. How are you? And welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you? And welcome, Jeff.
Donna, we're having a problem hearing you. Could you speak a little louder, please?
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I just have 3 questions. The first one is, I know women are stereotypically not, well, they feel like they're not good in math. So I'm just wondering, with the math coaches, are there more male math coaches or female math coaches, or it's about 50-50? That's question number 1.
Okay. Would you like for me to answer one by one? I'll answer that question. In the district, as far as the K through 12 and PPS, we've just recently hired 2 male coaches, but the majority of us, there's 10 of us, we're all female coaches. So, and they just got hired within the last year. So, I love it because now we get the male perspective, in regards to math. But, women are rocking it nowadays. We're able to do a lot more than, we thought we could do back in the day. So we're able to be district math coaches. We're able to work construction. We're able to do a lot more than, folks thought we were able to do. But yeah, there are really more female coaches, math coaches, than there are male.
Good. My next question is the STEM program still strong in the school system? I know math isn't that part of the STEM program, or?
Yes. Science, technology, engineering, and math. And so that's all part of, we have STEM coding labs in a lot of our schools. And so our schools, depending on the funding, there are, schools, like I said, that do have those STEM coding labs, and students are learning how to code, the programming. Back in the day, I remember when in 1983, when I took a computer science class at Pitt, I remember having those punch cards, way back in the day. That was, we thought we were doing something back then, but nowadays they're doing STEM coding, and so students are able to program and create video games and do all kind of sorts of things. Computer science is everywhere we are, so and that comes and stems from a mathematical background. So yes.
Right. And the last question is, have the students' progress recovered from COVID? I know when COVID was strong, everybody had to do things at home with their parents helping them, and it appeared that their progress was delayed a little bit. And I'm just wondering, has it recovered yet, or is it still on the rise?
Yeah.
That's good show, everybody.
Yeah, that's another great question, because even prior to COVID, we still had a lot of catching up to do. We want to make sure that we're providing an equal opportunity for students to receive an education that is, that will take them, in their careers very far. And so we were just a little bit behind and trying to, finally starting to catch up, and then bam, COVID hit us. And so with COVID, it did, bring us back a little bit, and we did fall back a little bit and lost a little bit. So, that's why it's very important for teachers to really be able to do double time and double duty. We've got to do extra work, extra planning, extra pushing with the students to get them back where they need to be. And so there are students that have struggled from COVID because the learning they weren't in the classroom. And, even though we're, not downplaying homebound education, but being in the classroom, with being around your peers and being able to have that discussion and all of that. That's what our students had needed and had missed, being out from COVID. And so, it's really a push on teachers as well as parents, as well as students, to be able to make sure that we catch up our students to where they should be. It's we still are feeling the effects of it, but we just got a hard job to do, and we're just going to continue until our babies are right where they need to be and that they're on grade level.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, caller, for calling in. All right, Alice, you can go back to your question.
Yes, the next question is the Summer Boost program, is that math-oriented training class?
So with the Summer Boost program, it's a no-cost summer learning program for the students at PPS. It's for our students in grades K through 7. And it's designed to support students by building, a positive relationship and creating opportunities for them to explore and to keep students on track for their future, their academic success and thriving in a fun environment. So this program provides, free meals, free breakfast, free lunch, and even a snack. It also provides 90 minutes of mathematics, 90 minutes of English language arts, and 60 minutes of enrichment activities provided by community organizers.
Okay. So is there anything going on with the Boost program during the school year?
So not during the school year. This is an actual summer program.
Okay.
And it's been in session for 2 weeks now. So I'm really excited about it. We do a lot of fun, engaging things. I just have to tell this one part, one of the things that we tried to do for our campers at Camp King, because we have 3 camps, one in Arlington, one at Pittsburgh King, and then one at UPrep. And at Camp King, for students that are our superstars, those are students that have behaved. Their behavior is on point, and they're sharp and been doing everything they're supposed to do. We give them a chance to finally be bad, so they get a chance to pie the staff in the face. And so it's their one chance that, I can fire this pie at my teacher. And so then we just have a lot of fun with it and just enjoying the summer. And that's what it's all about. That's what summer fun is all about. It's about, closing the achievement gap and just being able to make sure that our students learn over the summer, because there's a learning loss. When our students are not in school, they're losing what they learn. Yes, and so summer, if you're in a summer learning program, we're able to boost them up, you know what I mean? To be able to keep up and be ready for the fall. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. I want the callers all to know that if they watch the bottom of the screen, the phone number is there, so you can call in to ask Miss Tracy any questions that you may have. But my next question is about a program that I've heard about this year. It's called Teach Plus. And I want you to tell us what this program is and how to plan to grow more educators of color.
Yeah, so Teach Plus is a program that was designed to actually make sure we can hire more diverse students. And actually, I was recruited by the union, had actually, put my name, in the hat to be on the ELI team, which is the Equity Leadership Institute. And so we gather together, and we actually talk about ways that we can recruit more teachers of color, because we want to make sure that we have a good percentage of African American and diverse teachers, and compared to our population of students. And so in doing that, we've come together, worked with human resources, and we've worked with, worked together with the equity team at PPS to be able to find ways to be able to hire more diverse teachers. So, and also I wanted to add also, almost forgot to say this, is that I've also got a chance to actually attend the NASB conference, and with our Human Resources Department, which is it's the National Alliance of Black School Educators Conference. So I was able to attend that, to be able to tell everybody about Pittsburgh Public Schools and let them know that we are hiring over here, and and to come on and join Pittsburgh Public Schools and being a great educator and teacher of color.
Oh, okay.
And one of the great things about that Teach Plus program, not only is it for the Pittsburgh public school system, but you're using it throughout the county, various
Yes.
schools.
Oh,
So that's
Yes.
great.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we've partnered. So every school has a team of folks that kind of come together and find out what's best for their district. So yes, there are multiple districts that are coming together, all in one place, and we're actually, talking with one another and sharing ideas, and finding, ways that we can support our district.
Are the parents involved at all in any of this?
The parents haven't been involved, and it just depends upon your district and what avenue you're going in. I know with our district, we are trying to maybe promote some of the programs that maybe all of our teachers and staff and parents don't know about. And, there's a phenomenal teaching program in Brashear that we found that a lot of folks don't know about. And so we want to share that, and we want to, promote, our young folks that may want to go into education, and let them know about this program, and and maybe even to be engaged once they go into college, to be able to major in education, and maybe even be involved in a program that I was in. I was in a program that I was able to get my master's and my teaching certificate all in 1 year, and it was an African American fellowship through the University of Pittsburgh. And a lot of the colleges have this, and a lot of people don't know about the program. But this program, usually for those that are changing careers, or maybe, this is they're changing their career, you can actually go into this program, apply for it, and you get a stipend, you get a contract with the district. It's a really great program. So I would encourage anyone that is looking to go into education, that try your high schools first. Do they have a young teachers mentors program that you can enter into? And then after that, search your colleges. Do they have those African American fellowships that will pay for your education? How many of us know that we need our education paid for? That's such a great thing. So getting your education paid for, and being able to be a student teacher, as well as taking those courses and getting your master's and your teaching certificate all in 1 year. So it's a great program for them to investigate.
That is great.
Good. Yeah.
And what was the name of the program that you mentioned that you went into?
It's the African American Fellowship, and it's for teaching. It's the MAT program, Math of Arts and Teaching.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity for people, and I'm glad you mentioned that, so that hopefully someone will take your advice and go into that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, how do you engage students in making learning math fun and exciting? What do you do?
Well, I love to be, I would have to say, I'm animated. I'm very animated. So I love to engage my students with video, music, dancing, and talking, of course. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I love to talk. And so that's what I love to do. And that's how I love to engage my students. I have to find out what they like. For my older students, when I had, the middle schoolers, the sixth graders, I would actually do like surveys and that for them. And even some of the third through sixth grade, I would do a survey, see some of the things that they like to do and what they want to hear about or what they want to see. Do they like animals? What type of food they like? Just to kind of engage them. But then for my younger crowd, oh my goodness, as long as you're playing that music, you're up dancing, and you don't mind being silly. A lot of times we're just too professional. Then we're not we're not silly enough, and we're for our younger crowd, and they need someone that they can trust that will come to their level and meet them where they are, and to have fun with them. And the more that they can trust you and you can build that relationship with them, the more they are willing to learn, the more they're willing to say, Miss Calhoun, I don't understand, can you teach me this, can you show me this? So engaging them again with images, with video, with dancing and singing. I always we were talking about earlier about COVID, and so there's that old guy Jack Hartman had all these videos out, and everybody was using Jack Hartman,
Yeah.
but Jack Hartman didn't care. He got up there and he did his thing, and he
Yes,
danced
he
and he
did.
sang and he entertained, and everybody tapped on YouTube and looked at Jack Hartman. So that's a way that I love to engage our students.
Okay. Now, are there any specific topics or areas of mathematics that you find fascinating or enjoy teaching the most, and why?
Oh, let's see here. I would say, for the most part, there are ways that we can routines, warm up routines, like notice and wondering, same but different, would you rather, which one does it belong, splat, slow reveal graphs. There's so many subitizing, estimating. These are just ways that we can actually get our, fun and exciting ways that we can get our students involved and engaged. And they're just specific strategies that we can use that students will be a part of. And another thing is discourse. Like I said, I love to talk, but as a teacher, that's when I have to step back and I have to listen to the students and let them talk. I have to bite my tongue, you know what I mean, and be the facilitator and let the students do the talking.
Okay.
You remember they used to have the shows on there about the kids are talking, they're telling all the stories, they're telling everything that happened. Don't give a student a mic or a child a mic, because they'll talk forever if you give it to them. But discourse and which is deep discussion is a great way to learn, and it's a fascinating way to learn. And so that's something that I think is most important and most enjoyable.
Okay.
Tracy, I wanted you to know that there are a lot of comments that are coming in, and they're flashing up on the bottom of the screen. So I hope that the various participants and the people that are watching can see the comments that are being made. And all of them are positive and wonderful and encouraging. So I wanted you to know that. Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, I have a question. My question is, in your opinion, what is the most essential mathematical skill or concept that every person needs to know?
Mathematical concept. We need to build our critical thinking skills and problem solving abilities, because this is actually something that we can utilize in life and use further in our careers, and everything that we do. One of the strategies that I like to utilize for our students is called CRA, and the acronym stands for concrete, representational, and abstract. And so it starts with our students being able to work with manipulatives and being able to play, you know what I mean, and being able to learn from them. And when we have an assignment or a problem that we want our students to solve, we actually have them use that concretely, using the manipulatives. Then we move to representational. So then we get students to be able to represent using pencil and paper what they've done abstract or concretely with the manipulatives. And then from that, we move to the abstract, is when we begin to, develop number sentences. It could be addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division. But that's a really great process. And it's like the foundation of math that kind of gets our students to be able to understand what's going on in the problem, is being able to represent the problem with manipulatives, that's concrete, then representing that by drawing out, those concrete manipulatives, and then the abstract piece, which is actually developing a number sentence from that. Whether it be, like I said, any of the 4 operations, it could be a multiplication sentence, but just being able to devise that from the representation.
Okay. We have another caller on the line, Mark from the North Side.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Yes, am I on here?
Yes, you are.
Oh, great. Hey, listen, Pat and Alice, I just first want to say it's good to see the both of you, and it's good to hear both of you, and what a beautiful show.
Thank you.
And I have to admit, of all the years that I've been watching and listening to your show, I sit here and I listen, and then I write down my questions. I think you both drew me for a stump, because all of the questions that I wanted to say, someone has answered. It is so informative. And number 3, I am so proud of the show, because many of you know that I served 16 years on the Pittsburgh School Board as a member of the Board of Directors. And to Miss Calhoun, I am so excited about you. I don't know if I had the pleasure of meeting you yet, and I'm so proud of you. And let me tell you why. It is rare when you see someone in a particular career that enjoys every minute of what you're doing to help the youth of today, especially African Americans. And so I only call to compliment you and to simply say to you that if you are sharing and bringing the same kind of excitement and enjoyment in your classroom, then I think those kids are in for a real treat and possibly the best learning experience of their lives. Thank you so much. And I just want to hang up, and I'm so glad to see and hear you, Ms. Calhoun. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you so much for calling.
That was awesome. Wow, that almost brought me to tears. It's a blessing, because it's a humbling experience, and I'm thankful that God gave me an opportunity to be able to serve, and to serve our children, not just your children. I call them our children, because once they come into the classroom, they're now my child as well. So they have that support. Like I said, I have students that are grown now and have their own babies, and it's just, I keep that relationship, and I appreciate that caller calling in and giving that information, and expressing how they felt. That is really heartfelt, and I appreciate that. And that encouraged me to continue being all the best that I can be, and that my work is not in vain. Because we all need to be encouraged, right? We all need to be lifted up. We all need to be coached, right? And so, today I got coached.
And once again, if you can see at the bottom of the screen, the compliments are definitely still coming in. So thank you.
That's awesome.
Okay. And now, my next question is, how do you address the needs of the students with different learning styles and abilities? And I know there's students you come in contact with that they've been convinced that they can't do math.
Yeah. So I call those teachers math magicians. Because it really, I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to be true. It is difficult to manage different learning styles and different needs of your students. It's like every student, if you truly care about your students, every student is going to have a plan. You're going to know that this student or these students here need support with this, and these students over here need support with this. But these students like to learn visually, or these students like to learn with music, or these students like to learn by themselves. You have to be a serious organizer, and you have to take the time to do the planning and put in the work. You just have to be able to meet the needs of all your students. No matter what type of learner they are, or what, you have to find out what their academic needs are and how they communicate socially. And so you have to put all those things into perspective, to actually, like I said, create a plan for every last one of your students. So
typically, how large are your classes?
So, prior to COVID, when I was back in the day, I'd say 6 years ago, when I had a class, I had like 28 in my class. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of students to be able to manage. And then you have all the different standards. You have the state standards that you need to make sure that all my students know these standards before they leave, my classroom. And so you've got to be able to manage, them understanding it, being retaught it, and maybe sometimes, I used to tell my students all the time, I can't do this all by myself. I need your help. So if you're good at multiplying, I want you to sit over here with your peers, and I want you to teach them how to multiply. I'm going to be over here with this group. I mean, it is a joint effort. And when you make it a family in your classroom, and you say everybody has a responsibility for one another, then they don't mind saying, hey, I do need help with this, or I do need help with that. And so like I said, it is a lot to manage, but it's putting in that time, that extra time to plan. I don't think people even realize how much time a great or an excellent teacher spends at home planning. There are teachers that stay after school for hours. There are teachers that are at home for hours planning, just so that they can prepare a plan to the backup plan. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that their students are getting all of those standards,
right,
and that they're understanding. So thank you for that question.
Right. Have you encountered a particular difficult or perplexing math question from a student that actually stumped you? And how do you handle that?
The reason why I'm laughing is because, sometimes as teachers, we try to portray as though, we know it all. Well, we don't. And, in being honest, and being forthright and saying, hey, I don't know everything, and hey, I made a mistake, is a great learning experience for our students, because then they know you're real. And they know that, oh, Miss Calhoun, you put a 9 instead of an 8. That's why my problem is wrong, And so those are the things that we need to have discussions about, and we have to be real about, and we have to embrace. And when we can teach our students to embrace that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay. We learn from our mistakes. We grow from our mistakes. That's when it makes the classroom much smoother, and you can get through so much more. I was laughing because earlier today, yesterday, we were in our Club Hollywood at camp, and one of the questions was about 365 days a year. If the students went to school every day, how many days would they be in school? And I'm thinking, okay, how many days would the kids have to be in school? Not paying attention. It said every day. It was a trick question. Right. I was so busy running the game, I didn't pay attention to what the question actually said. So, it's 365 days a year. So that's the answer. And so it was just kind of hilarious that, and it goes to show that you've got to be focused. You've got to be on your toes. And it's okay when you make a mistake.
It is.
So what advice would you have or give to an aspiring math teacher who's passionate about making a positive impact
Oh, wow.
with the students?
Um, oh, just to don't give up, and we need you. We need you. The children need you. Children need you, and it's not an easy job. I'm just going to put it out there. It is not an easy job. It's for someone who is selfless. It's for someone who cares about others and who's willing to serve. If you're willing to serve, you're willing to love, you're willing to put in that extra time, it is so rewarding. It is something that money can't buy. You know what I mean? And I applaud you for thinking about going into be a teacher. But if you're going to be a teacher, be a good one, be a great one. Reach the stars. Do your best and always reflect. I think that's been the number one thing that has helped me in anything that I've done is that I always reflect on what I've done, how I did it, who did I affect? Could I have done that better? Okay, tomorrow I'm going to try a different strategy. I'm going to try a different way. And I don't give up. So that's the advice and encouragement I have for anyone that wants to be involved and engage with students in learning and teaching them, because we're all learning. We learn from our students as well as teach them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Tracy, I want to tell you the compliments that are coming in at the bottom of the screen are just fantastic. So I hope that you are able to see them later if you haven't seen them already. Okay, tell me this. How has teaching math evolved over the years, and what do you see as the future of math for math education?
Well, before, math used to always be about this is the right answer. When we were taught, it was like, you're going to do this, this, and this, and you're going to get to the right answer. That's what math was all about back then, but now we've learned that we've got to provide opportunities for all students to be able to grasp a task. And so they have or what they call now are low floor, high ceiling tasks. So this means it's a task that any student within the classroom would be able to enter in. They would be able to at least start the problem and to be able to grapple with the problem, But then the problem can be extended to where, students that maybe are on a higher level can still be challenged. And you can do that with problems and having, part A, part B, part C, you know what I mean? And being able to have them, like I said, the low floor and the high ceiling tasks for students to utilize. But yeah, it has evolved because it's based on, more discussion by the students. I remember, when I first did my student teaching and I walked into a math class and I'm like, why are students doing all the talking? You know what I mean? And that's how students learn. It's no longer us up standing in front lecturing and I want you to do this, and that. But it's about students finding out, students exploring, students being able to tell me, what's going on with this problem, and for them to construct viable arguments amongst one another. That's what makes a great discussion or discourse, is when they're going back and forth with one another and talking about it and breaking it down and making connections. And that's where the true learning is.
Okay. Well, what are some of the creative ways to incorporate real life applications of math into the curriculum to make it more relevant for the students?
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that one more time? I apologize.
What are some creative ways that you've used to incorporate real life applications of math into the curriculum?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I don't know if I had mentioned earlier, but when you go into the kitchen You want to talk about real life application? Go into the kitchen. When Mama used to make that lemon meringue pie, that apple pie, you know what I mean? Come on now. We had to measure some things. And when Grandma was good, she did a pinch of this and a pinch of that. She already knew.
Right.
But nowadays, we have these recipe books that calls for measurement. So that's something that is that's math. When you go into the garden and you go out there with mom, dad, or grandma, auntie, uncle, whoever it is that you live with, and they have a garden and they want to plant a garden, you have to look at the area. You have to look at the perimeter. You have to measure that to see, how many feet by feet is this, or, what is the area that I'm going to, plant my garden and plant my greens, when you're going to the store, making sure our students have the change and can make change and know how to get the correct change. Because back in the day, Mama used to say, "You better bring me back that correct change." So we had no choice. We had to make sure we knew how to count. You know what I mean, and knew our coins. And so math is all around us. It is all around us. And so just taking advantage of all those mathematical moments and really enjoying the application of math that's everywhere. I mean, even when you look at GPS, you look at the GPS and it tells you how much time you're going to arrive there. You can make a math problem out of that, and finding out without looking at the time, how much time it would take you to be there. If it says, 30 minutes from now, what time would that be? So there's just so many different ways that you can really incorporate math through real life, experiences.
Real life situations.
Exactly.
What advice can you give to parents that want to support your child's mathematical development outside of school?
So, some advice that I would give to parents that want to support their mathematical development.
Outside of the classroom.
It's about spending time with their students and looking at that homework and asking them, what did you learn today? And being able to do just some of the things that we talked about, whether it's, counting counting goldfish, counting your snacks, you know what I mean, or your gummy bears. But it's just really spending that time having those conversations and having those discussions about math, and getting a student curious or your child curious about mathematical concepts. You know what I mean? Like looking at stop signs when you're going down the street. How many sides does that have? You know what I mean? It's just all about having those discussions and taking advantage of every opportunity that you have to talk about math.
Alice, do you have any other questions?
Well, yeah, I wanted to ask this one question about have you ever encountered a math problem from a student that stumped you?
Plenty of math problems. No, as I was saying earlier, I was teasing about the question about if you went to school every day, how many days would the student be attending school? But no, there are math problems that I've got to know my math. As a math teacher, I can't expect to open up the teacher's manual and teach the same day. I have to study that. I have to know it. I have to go over it. I have to look at all the different possible solutions, you know what I mean? So that I can be prepared when the students, find solutions on their own, so that we can have those discussions around the math. So yeah, there have been things that students have taught me because, like I said, I don't know it all. And we learn from mistakes, and just being real like that and being able to share with students and say, wow, I didn't even think of that. That is awesome. You know what I mean? And really, being impressed with what they're doing. And I'm telling you, students will rise to the occasion if we just provide that opportunity, if we provide that space for them to talk about it. We provide that space for them to explore. I'm telling you, they will amaze you.
So have you developed your own, or have you developed any innovative teaching techniques and used them to make the complex mathematical concepts easier for the students to understand?
Definitely. What I've done in the past is I've had like a little notebook, and in my studying, I had like, it would have my little table of contents, and it would have all my different lessons just kind of broken down. And I would plan it out, and I would have it all ready, and I would use that as my guide for students
Okay.
that I needed to maybe pull to the side to reteach, because that's what, and maybe parents don't know that a lot of times, when I try to teach the students, it's not 100% guaranteed they're going to get that lesson. And so I've got to provide another opportunity to reteach that student what I've taught the whole class, maybe in a small group or one on one. It may be a situation where, okay, it's not just today. I need to keep, continue that teaching,
Right.
for the next day.
Hmm.
And guess what? Not only that, I've got to reassess the student to see, okay, does the student now understand? Do I feel that they are secure with this standard, or do I need to continue teaching? Or do I need to get, one of their peers to maybe sit down with them and show them and teach them? So
Mhm.
it's just all about really being totally vested into each and every child, because each and every child is special. They're important. They're important in this world. They are our future leaders. And so we want to make sure that they have all the tools that they need in life to succeed.
You know what? This has truly been a very interesting afternoon, listening to the information that you've shared with us and to see your passion. The Pittsburgh Public School system is really, you are a valued addition to them. And I want to thank you for coming on. Um, do you have any final words that you'd like to share with our audience?
No, I would like to thank you all. Thank you all for inviting me. Thank you all for the opportunity and the space to be able to share how I feel about, Pittsburgh Public Schools, about our students, about educating our students. It's all about the kids. We have to not let it be about us, but be about them. And so I encourage everyone to be vested and to dig in and to call into the schools and be involved and to get in the know. So, again, I thank you for inviting me. It is an honor to be with you, ladies. I appreciate you so much. And thank you for allowing me to be a part.
See,
And
we
I
told you the time would go quickly. And I want you to know the comments coming in at the bottom of the screen, and they are all fantastic and compliments
so
to you. But before we thank our guests for sharing on our program again, we would like to say that Good Health Wins, the Women's Immunization Network, is Good Health Wins is our commitment to building an army of good health champions who understand the importance of immunization across the lifespan. We want to educate, advocate, and impact families and communities across the United States to end the pandemic, address health disparities, and shine the light on the importance of good health. Through our network of trusted messengers and grassroots activities, our goal is to increase vaccination rates, help remove barriers, and increase access to vaccination and good health. Alice?
yes, and we would like to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule, because it sounds like it's a busy one, to inform us and our viewing audience about math education in the Pittsburgh public school system. You've been
Yes, we would also like to
very
thank
helpful.
all of you for tuning in. And remember, our live program airs the first Friday of every month at 6 o'clock. Remember, first Friday every month, 6 o'clock. And remember to get vaccinated. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.